CPEC have brought in 25.4 billion US dollars direct investments and created 75,000 jobs for Pakistan at its peak. Even during the COVID-19 pandemic, CPEC projects proceeded uninterruptedly with no jobs cut or staff retrenched. In doing so, the CPEC has strongly supported Pakistan's economy and people's livelihoods, which we are so happy to see. Last week, Chinese President Xi Jinping said at the ceremony marking the centenary of the Communist Party of China that China will work to promote high-quality development of the Belt and Road Initiative through joint efforts. As CPEC is an important pilot project of the Belt and Road Initiative, China is ready to work with Pakistan to boost high-quality development of the CPEC and extend it to a wider region. The CPEC, in particular, the industries and the special economic zones involved, is open to third-party cooperation. Singapore has actively supported and participated in jointly building the Belt and Road Initiative. I sincerely hope that today's webinar will inform our Singaporean friends of the opportunities and potential benefits CPEC and its related SEZs can offer, and positively helps you in making a decision to invest in Pakistan. I also wish our Singaporean friends a good fortune by seizing the investment opportunities. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you very much, sir. Moving on, it is now time to have our first keynote speech for today, which will be delivered by Honorable General Asim Salim Bajwa. General Bajwa is the chairman of the CPEC Authority in Pakistan, and CPEC Authority oversees and coordinates all the joint working groups that work under the CPEC framework. Previously, General Bajwa has served as Commander Southern Command in Pakistan Army and also as the Director General ISPR, which is the Inter-Services Public Relations. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much, Sama. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. His Excellency Mr. Yingxing, Director General of NDRC, Her Excellency Rukhsana Afzal, our High Commissioner in Singapore, His Excellency Mr. Zhang Yumin, Charge d'Affaires Embassy of People's Republic of China in Singapore. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It is my profound privilege to be talking to you all here today on a very important webinar. It reminds me of my personal association with Singapore, because I was for some time deployed on the bordering region of Singapore and Malaysia. And from a small village in Uluturam, Johor Bahru, I used to travel to Singapore and have my meal at least once in a week in Singapore. So a lot of association of the younger days with Singapore. It is a privilege also that I am here today with our Chinese brothers, myself and Her Excellency Rukhsana Afzal. We present ourselves to our Singaporean brothers and sisters and talk about opportunities in this grand project of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which is the flagship project of the Century Belt and Road Initiative. So let me begin with what do we expect from Singapore? Singapore is a role model of an economic success for a country like ours. So it is a very highly successful port. It is a hub of transshipment. It is hub of trading. It is a large manufacturing base. It's all export-oriented manufacturing there. So this is all that we are also looking for in our special economic zones and in our free zone along the port in Gawada for ourselves. So like our High Commissioner just mentioned in a very focused speech, your expertise that you can bring in the CPEC related projects here, it's not only the hardcore manufacturing, it is also a lot of expertise in the business modeling and structuring and other services related to the industrialization of Pakistan. So that is how we are looking towards Singapore. And now let me move on to tell you where are we today. I would say that CPEC is a lifeline for Pakistan, and it is already planned till 2030, and it's a very comprehensive plan. We are through with the early harvest project and our phase 1. This phase 1 was meant to fill the voids of energy and infrastructure, and it is largely completed. And it has now brought us to the launch pad for phase 2, which is now moving into private sector, business to business, joint ventures, and collaborations, going into large scale industrialization and agriculture, science and technology. And now lately we're going to add information technology as well. And then we also are opening other avenues of socio-economic development to uplift our people, enhance their livelihoods, and go into fields like tourism. So going into phase 2, let me focus now on 2 things today. One is the industrialization and other is agriculture. So we need a lot of help in special economic zones, hub of industrialization. So out of 37 economic zones, we prioritized 9 special economic zones, and within them, we picked up 3 to 4 special economic zones, which we are offering today. So let me start in the north. We have a special economic zone in KP. This is closer to China, but this is also closer to Afghanistan. It opens up opportunities right into Central Asia. And this is located in the area where we have a lot of minerals. We have good output in efficiency, human resource. This has great potential for mining and mineral. And this has great potential for light engineering, great potential for fruit and vegetable. So this is an area, this is at 1,000 acre Rashakai Special Economic Zone. And right on day 1, we had Century Steel from China come in and start their factory. And they wish to be operational and start producing their products within a year. And we have now a lot of interest. We have another 25 companies lined up to come and start investing here. Let me move on to the second special economic zone, which is in the center and north of the country in Faisalabad. Faisalabad has a huge advantage because it is already a cluster of textile and other manufacturing. It's a hub of manufacturing, and it is a culture of manufacturing. So it is known as, by a lot of people, as Manchester of Pakistan, because it's a hub of textile and garments. So we have the largest special economic zone of Pakistan coming up here. We have all the amenities being provided, and we have a lot of interest from Germany, from UK, from United States. And more importantly, we already have 5 companies who have come in and registered themselves, and they will start working very soon to build their factories. So here we have potential from textile, garments, and from construction material to electronics to pharmaceutical and to you name anything. It is right in the heart of the country, and it is open to the ports, and it is also open to the northern areas, to Afghanistan and Central Asia and onwards. Our third special economic zone is in the port city of Karachi. It's very close to the port, around only 35 kilometers, good access road, and it opens up a lot of opportunities, import of raw material and then export of value-added high products. So it has a huge interest also by the people. So we are going to launch this special economic zones very soon. My next on the priority list is Gwadar Free Zone. A lot of activity in Gwadar Free Zone. It has an association with Singapore as well, because Gwadar Port started with Singapore Port Authority in 2007. And now it is being very efficiently run by a Chinese company, China Port Holding. The port is fully operational, it is complete. And we've also completed phase 1 of Gwadar Free Zone, which was on 60 acres. 12 factories have already completed and 6 of them have started their operations. And going forward, the Prime Minister was there only this week on Monday, and he's groundbroken the next phase of the free zone, which is at 2,220 acres. And we have a lot of interest. A group of Chinese companies have come in. The Prime Minister went in and he did the groundbreaking of 5 factories on the first day. And we have now a queue of other investors also who want to come and invest there in Gwadar. Gwadar is now very fast getting connected to north of the country. So Afghan transit trade is now moving through Gwadar port. We have very close to Gwadar port, we have the Iranian border, and we have now formal trading gate at Iranian border as well. But then we open Gwadar up to entire Central Asia, to Afghanistan and to China. This moves across the length of the country. So a good opportunity at Gwadar. And there are a lot of incentives. I am grateful to Her Excellency, the High Commissioner. She's already given you the incentive package that we have. Our 5th opportunity is in Bostan Special Economic Zone, which is just next to Quetta. And please remember, Quetta is the capital of Balochistan, and it is the epicenter of all mine and mineral, world renowned here in Balochistan. You must have heard about Rekodek. It is a huge deposit of gold. We have copper, we have fluoride, we have chromite, and we have so many other minerals here. All of them will be processed. We want investors to come and put up processing plants here. This is also the fruit and dry fruit basket of the country. So we have the dry fruit and the fresh fruit here in this region. So all this can be processed here and then transported across the country. We have the western route happening under CPEC, just going through this special economic zone, and it will open up those opportunities as well. So I would conclude by inviting you all to this great win-win opportunity. You come in with your capital, you invest here, you can repatriate your profit. You have the expertise, you have the investment. We have the best resources here, untapped, so many of them, and we have great human resource, cheaper labor. So it is a great win-win opportunity. We are hungry for investment and development. And the government has already shifted its focus Right now, the focus is geoeconomics and economy and development and progress. So thank you very much. It was great speaking to you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for so elaborately highlighting what CPEC offers and where we stand today. It is now time for our second keynote speech of today. May I now introduce Mr. Zheng Jiang, who is the Director General of Department of International Affairs, Office of the Leading Group for Promoting the BRI Initiative within NDRC. Mr. Jiang's previous positions include Deputy Division Chief of the Policy and Law Division of the Development Planning Commission of Zhejiang Province, Chief of the Strategic Research and Legal Affairs Department of Zhejiang Province, and Deputy Director General of Research Office of Zhejiang Provincial Government. Before holding his current position, Mr. Zheng Jiang was concurrently the Director General of the Research Office of Zhejiang Provincial Government and Deputy General of Zhejiang Provincial Government. Mr. Zheng Jiang will make his keynote address on progress made so far in CPEC. Sir, the floor is yours.
尊敬的阿福扎罕女士，尊敬的巴杰万主席，尊敬的张徐明临时代办，女士们、先生们，中午好。
Distinguished Madam Aftar, distinguished Mr. Bajeva, and distinguished Mr. Zhang Xunmin, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon.
非常荣幸出席中巴经济走廊相关经济特区投资机遇网络研讨会。首先，我谨代表推进“一带一路”建设工作领导小组办公室主任、中国全国政协副主席、国家发展改革委主任何立峰先生，代表领导小组办公室副主任、国家发展改革委副主任、中巴经济走廊联委会主席令吉泽先生，向本次会议的召开表示热烈的祝贺。
I'm very honored to attend today's meeting on CPEC, Special Related Economic Zones. First, please allow me to send the warm greetings on behalf of the leader of Leading Group Office for Construction of BRI, the Vice Chairman of National Committee of Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, the NDRC Vice Chairman, NDRC Chairman Mr. He Lifeng, and on behalf of the Vice President of the Leading Group Office for BRI Construction, and also the Vice Chairman of NDRC, and the Chairman of CPEC GCC, Mr. Ling Jizhe, to send the warm congratulations to all of you today.
今年是中巴建交70周年，5月21日，习近平主席和巴基斯坦总统阿尔维互致贺电。习近平主席在贺电中指出，近年来在双方共同努力下，中巴经济走廊建设取得显著成效，给两国人民带来重要福祉，为地区繁荣增添强劲动力。在中巴两国领导人的坚强带领下，在中巴双方人民的共同努力下，中巴经济走廊建设8年多来硕果累累，走廊累计为巴基斯坦带来254亿美元直接投资，创造了7.5万个就业岗位。
This year is the 70th anniversary of China and Pakistan build our diplomatic relationship. On May 21st, Chairman Xi Jinping and President Arif Alvi have sent greetings to each other. Chairman Xi Jinping has pointed out in the greetings that during recent years, under the effort of each other, the CPEC has gained remarkable results. It has brought welfare for the people of the two nations and also helped build momentum to regional prosperity. Under the firm leadership of China and Pakistan leaders, and also the effort of Chinese and Pakistani people, the CPEC has gained a lot of achievements in the past 8 years. CPEC has cumulatively brought $25.4 investment to Pakistan and create 75,000 opportunities in the past 8 years.
特别是面对突如其来的新冠肺炎疫情，中国和巴基斯坦患难与共，真诚 互助，两国铁杆情谊得到进一步升华。疫情期间，中方承诺不撤中方员工，不裁巴方员工，不停项目建设，确保走廊项目正常运营。巴方竭力做好走廊项目的用工、物资和安全保障。双方员工在项目现场挥洒汗水，干劲十足。面对前所未有的挑战，中巴员工同心协力，众志成城，中巴经济走廊逆势飘红，成为共建“一带一路”的一面旗帜。
Especially when the COVID-19 hit the globe, China and Pakistan go through thick and thin during this process. The eye-like friendship of the two nations has come to a next level. During the COVID-19, China has promised no withdrawal, no layoff, and non-stop of project construction to make sure the CPEC projects can continue normally. The Pakistani friends has made their effort to secure the labor supplies, the materials, and also the security. So China and Pakistan's employees actually are motivated with tremendous vigor on set. Against all the hardships, China and Pakistani employees work together, unified together, and the CPEC has rebounded against all the hardships. The CPEC has already become a flag, a demonstrative project for building BRI.
一是瓜达尔港共建取得重大进展，阿富汗转口贸易业务获批并有序开展，瓜达尔港正朝着物流枢纽和产业基地的目标稳步迈进。
First, Gwadar Port has gained great achievements. The export port trade to Afghanistan has been approved by Pakistan and has been deployed in order. The Gwadar Port has developed to its future as a logistic hub and industrial base.
二是能源工程见到明显成效，萨希瓦尔、卡西姆等电厂克服疫情困难，保持正常生产，发电量占巴基斯坦全国电力供应1/3。
The second is the energy project has gained remarkable results. Power supplies such as Sasiwar and Qasim actually has gone against the hardships in COVID-19 to maintain the normal production. It provides 1/3 of the power supply in Pakistan.
三是基础设施发挥重要作用，喀拉昆仑公路2期升级改造，拉合尔城线、白沙瓦到卡拉奇高速公路3大交通项目逆势竣工，中巴传统友谊必将像喀拉昆仑一样越走越宽广。
Third, the CPEC has gone through a great development in infrastructure area. The KKH2 project has been completed. The Lahore Orange Line and also the Bashar to Karachi Highway Road. All those three main infrastructure projects actually completed against all the adversities in COVID-19. We can say that China and Pakistan's friendship will be like the KKH2 program. Like the building of the road is wide and is in depth has been developed.
四是产业合作有了新的突破，走廊标志性产业合作项目拉萨卡伊特别经济区举行启动仪式，基础设施建设、招商引资工作稳步推进。
The fourth is that we have made new breakthroughs in industrial cooperation. The CPEC Signature Industrial Cooperation Project, the Lashkai Special Economic Zone has been opened. The infrastructure and business infrastructure construction and also the business attraction has been deployed gradually.
习近平主席强调指出，要推动中巴经济走廊高质量运行，构建更加紧密的中巴命运共同体。我们将认真落实两国元首的重要指示精神，以中巴建交70周年为契机，紧扣1+4合作布局，务实推动中巴经济走廊高质量运行，努力让发展成果惠及巴基斯坦人民。
Chairman Xi Jinping once pointed out that we have to maintain the impetus and momentum of CPEC development to make sure that CPEC is developed in high quality, and we should work together to tighten the shared future of China and Pakistan's unity. And we will definitely implement the spirit of the two heads. We will take good opportunity of the 70th anniversary of China and Pakistan build diplomatic relationship, and we will adhere to the 1+4 cooperative layout to make sure that the CPEC can be maintained and operated with high quality, and to make sure that the tangible results of CPEC development would benefit Pakistan people.
习近平主席曾经说，“一带一路是大家携手前进的阳关大道，不是某一方的私家小路。”中方致力于高标准推进中巴经济走廊建设，把走廊打造成为“一带一路”高质量发展的示范工程。
Chairman Xi Jinping once said, "The Belt and Road is a sunshine avenue for everybody to cooperate together. It's not a private path for one-sided, for any side. China will devote it to promote CPEC with high quality and forge the CPEC to be the demonstrative project for BRI high quality development."
新加坡是“一带一路”的共建国，具有许多得天独厚的优势。中方欢迎新加坡积极参与走廊建设。
Singapore is a very important participant of Belt and Road Initiative and endowed with resourceful nature resources and other investments. And China, and we welcome Singapore to participate in the CPEC construction.
今后在中巴经济走廊下开展第三方合作，有利于充分利用三方市场，调动三方资源，形成优势互补，共享发展机遇，并为推动区域经济合作开辟新路径。我们相信，在三方的合作下，中巴经济走廊建设将迎来更加光明的发展前景。
In the future, we can start the third-party cooperation under CPEC. This will help us to utilize the third-party market to motivate the third-party resources and make complementaries to each other's economic development, and also share the development opportunity in the future. I believe this will actually create a new path, a new way for the future regional economic cooperation. I believe under the third-party cooperation, the CPEC definitely will have a brighter future.
最后，预祝本次研讨会圆满成功，谢谢大家。
At last, I would wish today's seminar a great success. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, sir. Like China, Pakistan too is committed to make CPEC the high-quality demonstration project of PRI. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin our panel discussion session, and we are honored today to have with us 6 distinguished panelists with us who will be speaking about 6 different aspects about CPEC. But just a little housekeeping point before we move on. If you have any questions, all the participants, if you have any questions during these 6 talks, please feel free to use the chat box. Drop in your questions with your names and with the name of the panelists that you would like your question to be addressed to. And at the end, when we have the Q&A session, we'll make sure that your questions are responded to in time. With that, may I now request the first panelist for today, Mr. Faraz Edi. Mr. Faraz Edi is the Director General of China here at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and he will be speaking about CPEC looking ahead. This is it.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon from Islamabad. I am extremely honored to participate in this virtual conference today, themed on CPEC. This is an auspicious occasion, as this year also marks the 70th anniversary of Pakistan-China diplomatic relations. I would like to thank the organizers, especially the Embassy of China in Singapore and High Commission of Pakistan in Singapore, for arranging this webinar, which I believe is the need of the hour. I would also like to thank all the distinguished panelists and speakers who are participating in this webinar today. Ladies and gentlemen, the region that we inhabit is one of the least integrated regions of the world. Our huge populations and limited resources can be tapped only through viable regional connectivity endeavors such as BRI. President Xi's vision of the Belt and Road Initiative seeks to promote physical connectivity, people-to-people contacts, and economic prosperity between the countries on the proposed route. It's a win-win situation for all. CPEC is a transformational economic endeavor and the flagship project of BRI. There's a complete national consensus on the indispensability of CPEC for Pakistan's continued economic growth. CPEC's total investment outlay stands at around $62 billion, out of which $25.4 billion has been invested till now. In a short span of time, we have completed 19 projects, 28 are under construction, while 41 are in the pipeline. Over the past 7 years, CPEC projects have created 26,795 jobs and have boosted local power industry. On the other hand, CPEC motorway projects have created almost 50,000 jobs. The first phase of CPEC focused on energy and infrastructure, whereas the second phase, currently underway, aims at providing agricultural innovation, industrial cooperation, livelihood generation, and poverty alleviation. We have envisaged 9 special economic zones, like the chairman of the CPEC authority, General Asim Bajwa, said. We have fast-tracked 3 of them, namely Rashakai, Dhabeji, and Allama Iqbal. This is covered in the phase 2 of CPEC. We encourage and invite foreign investors to invest in these special economic zones. The groundbreaking of the Rashakai Special Economic Zone was performed by the Prime Minister on 28th of May this year. And the development of 200 out of 1,000 acres of Rashakai Special Economic Zone is in the early stage of completion with respect to infrastructure and industrial utilities. Also, about 3,600 applications for the allotment of land for industries in Rashakai Special Economic Zones have already been received. This shows the scale of success of the CPEC SEZs. These special economic zones will primarily host industries in textile products, home building material, electronic and electrical appliances, pharmaceuticals, automobile and mechanical equipment, food processing and packaging. Ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan is a market of 220 million people with an important strategic location. Even during the pandemic, when the world's most strongest economies suffered significant setbacks, Pakistan has been able to maintain a positive momentum in its economic growth. Some indicators of our economic success include high influx of remittances over the last year and upward trajectory of growth in the textile and construction sectors. Large-scale manufacturing, which contributes 78% to overall manufacturing, has also recorded an almost 9% growth in the last financial year. Along with registering exports of $2 billion per month, our foreign remittances have reached an all-time high of $21.5 billion despite COVID-19. We are cognizant of the importance of foreign direct investment in CPEC projects and have taken all relevant measures to provide an enabling business environment. There exists an institutional mechanism in the form of a joint working group on industrial cooperation, in which the Federal Board of Investment, in consultation with provincial boards of investment, provides institutional support to the investors. CPEC is an open and inclusive project. It is in essence a cooperative rather than a competitive initiative. CPEC is open to third-party participation, which will be facilitated by a comprehensive set of incentives. We invite investors and entrepreneurs from Singapore to explore these economic zones and reap benefits from the incentives offered by Pakistan, such as 100% repatriation of profits, tax holiday for 10 years, and custom duties exemption on import of capital goods. Ladies and gentlemen, Singapore is recognized world over for the resilience of its economic and governance system, meritocracy, and technological advancements. As Pakistan shifts its focus from geopolitics to geoeconomics, we look forward to learning from Singapore's experience by enhancing people-to-people exchanges and developing economic linkages based on mutual benefits and sustainable development. I'm sure that today's platform will not only provide a comprehensive setting for the engagement, but also facilitate a free and continuous sharing of business experience, best practices, and technological expertise. I thank you all for your attention.
Thank you very much, sir. And just like Mr. Zebi just pointed out about the incentives being offered in the CPEC SEZs and industrialization, I think it provides us a natural transition to our next panelist. Please allow me to introduce Mr. Du Zendi, who is the DG of the Overseas Economic Cooperation Department and the acting DG of the Post-Project Evaluation Center, China International Engineering Consulting Corporation, CIECC. Mr. Du has been the chairperson of CPEC's Chinese Expert Group on Industrial Cooperation since 2016. He has visited Pakistan 4 times, has conducted investigations on the 9 SEZs, supervised all relevant works, and has researched industrial cooperation between China and Pakistan on textiles, steel, and petrochemistry. Mr. Du will outline the results of the research on industries in Pakistan by CIECC and the areas with investment potential. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Your Excellency, Commissioner Mr. Afzal, Your Excellency, Ambassador Delegate Zhang Baoming, Mr. CPEC Authority Chairman Banjab, Mr. Belt and Road Promotion Leading Group Director from NDRC, Ying Xiong. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor and a pleasure for me to participate in this webinar. I would like to take a quick through for industry cooperation under CPEC. First, about CICC, China International Engineering Consulting Corporation. As a Chinese leading consulting company, the participation in CPEC. From the beginning of CPEC in the year of 2013, based on the government to government, business to business, people to people model, CPEC has a very concrete G2G mechanism. The CPEC GCC is the higher ranking by NDRC or PRC, with presently 10 joint working groups under GCC. The JWG workforce is coming from different authorities and organizations, both from Pakistan and the Chinese side. Entrusted by the Chinese Secretariat of CPEC, of the China's National Development and Reform Commission, NDRC, CIECC has formed an expert group subordinate to industrial and SEZ JWG, taking consulting service under CPEC. The expert team, the expert group, of the main task of the expert group, with fully supported and cooperated with BOI from Pakistan, Board of Investment from Pakistan, to conduct experience sharing and exchange, site survey, case study, and feasibility study, research, and project appraisal in the areas of industrial and SEZ development under CPEC. From the year 2016 to 2019, with the kindly arrangement from Board of Investment of Pakistan, the industrial and SEZ expert group visited to Pakistan 5 times to conduct a science investigation for selected 9 special economic zones across Pakistan for progress assessment, holding meetings and workshops with provincial authorities, scholars, associations, entrepreneurs, and so on.
Dr. Du, I think we've lost you. I think we've lost connection with Dr. Du. In that case, we will move on to our next panelist for today, and still continuing on the investment opportunities. It is my honor now to invite Madam Farina Mazhar, who is the Secretary Federal Board of Investment here in Pakistan, and she will be delivering her views on investment opportunities with CPEC SEZs. Madam, can you please have the floor?
Thank you so much. Excellency Madam Rukhsana Afzal, High Commissioner of Pakistan to Singapore. Excellency Yang Xiumin, Chargé Affairs, Embassy of the People's Republic of China, Singapore. Lieutenant General Asim Salim Bajwa, Mr. Ying, DG NDRC, distinguished participants from the Singaporean business community, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon from Pakistan. My name is Farina Mazhar and I am the Secretary, Federal Board of Investment, and it is my privilege to be addressing you all today. Welcoming the third-party participation under CPEC is Pakistan's priority. I would like to present the investment opportunities in the CPEC SEZs for the Singaporean investment. I have a short presentation to make, and I will start with a short video, please.
There is something about Pakistan.
Volume.
Something magical. There is something about its peaks. The lakes. The valleys. The deserts. The golden beaches. And the exotic cuisine. It is a land rich in history, standing tall and proud. The remnants of ancient glories serve as reminders of where we came from. In the home of centuries-old civilizations, where natural and man-made wonders are plenty, there's a touch of warmth everywhere you go. The culture befriends every soul, makes you feel at home at every step. It is not a place short of hospitality, not a place far from home. It is a place of love and acceptance, of embracing our differences and celebrating our love. With the government's keen focus on expanding its tourism and hospitality sector, it has made visiting and investing in Pakistan all the more easier. Pakistan now offers e-visa facility to over 170 countries and visa on arrival to the citizens of 50 countries. Invest in the next big tourist destination of the world in sectors such as hospitality, hoteling, accommodation, attraction development. Because in the end, there is just something special about Pakistan. BOI, your gateway to investment in Pakistan.
So, can you put on the presentation, please? And yes. So, Board of Investment is Pakistan's apex promotion facilitation agency. We are responsible for the joint working group on industrial cooperation and the CPEC. We also do the regulatory modernization in the country. So we're trying to improve our ease of doing business in the country. So Pakistan improved 39 positions on the World Bank's report on ease of doing business for the last 2 years. And so we've made good progress on that account. Also, apart from the CPEC SEZs, we have 22 special economic zones altogether. So we are the focal agency for starting any investment in the special economic zones. And we are the one window, your first point of contact in Pakistan in case you want to start a business here or you want to invest. Pakistan, you see, has a very good geostrategic location. We have good connections, access to the sea, which is open for like most part of the year. We are on the crossroads of Asia. We have China on the north, India on the east, Iran and Afghanistan on the west. We have access to the 6 Muslim Central Asian states, and 2 major superpowers, China and Russia, are also in close proximity. The economic outlook of Pakistan recently is very positive. We have a network of special economic zones offering lucrative incentives. I'll talk about those later. The investment policy is very liberal. Anyone can invest in any sector in Pakistan. There is no cap on the maximum or the minimum investment that you can make. You can take out your profits, even your capital, without any without any hindrance, and the policy is very liberal on that context. And we have a very young workforce which is trainable, and we have a skilled workforce also, a young population which is 60% under the age of 25. So the key natural resources of Pakistan, as you can see, we have the 2nd largest salt reserves, 3rd largest copper reserves, 5th largest gold reserves, 5th largest gold reserves, 4th largest cotton producing country, 4th largest milk producer, 8th largest wheat producer, and 9th largest meat producer in the country. So, like I've talked about earlier, all sectors are open to foreign investment. There is a uniform treatment to all investors, local, all foreign. 100% foreign equity is allowed. 100% repatriation of profits and capitals is allowed. Borrowing facilities, both from the local and foreign banks, are available. We give a cover on investment protection and legal cover. The visa on arrival facility for businesses of 95 friendly countries is available. In China, recently, I would like to add that for the Chinese people, we have extended this visa for 2 years, which was originally for 3 months only, the work visa. And we are thinking of extending it to other friendly and neighboring countries also. So opening of branch office and liaison office is also the domain of Board of Investment. So we are a home to renowned multinationals. You can see a number of players who are already in Pakistan. The priority sector in which you can invest in any sector, but these are the potential sectors which offer very lucrative profits. These are the food processing, logistics, textiles, automobiles, information technology, housing and construction, tourism, and hospitality. Detailed back, please. Detailed feasibility reports in connection of all these sectors are available on our website in case you want to see what rules, regulations you have to follow, how do you purchase land, what registrations you have to make. All this detailed information is available on the Board of Investment's website. I otherwise also would request you to please visit our website. It is linked with the Google Translator at the moment, but we are having idiomatic translation, which will be done for like next, in 2 weeks' time, and the website will be available in 8 languages. So for the special economic zones, the creation of industrial clusters was the priority in the case of the special economic zones, and we have offered them to be developed in the public sector, private sector, joint ventures with the public-private partnership, so they can be developed in any mode. The SEZ Act was passed in 2012, and it offers very liberal incentives, which include custom duty exemption on import of capital goods for first time, income tax exemption for 10 years, both for the developer and for the enterprises, and infrastructure, including gas and electricity, is available in these special economic zones. So like I mentioned earlier, we have 22 special economic zones, and out of these, 4 fall under CPEC. So the role of Board of Investment in the development of the SEZs is that we coordinate all activities, we process the zone application fee, we review the development agreements, we go for the international and domestic promotion for these investments. We also are mindful of the fact that for areas which are less developed, we can offer even additional incentives. We act as a facilitator to the SEZ authorities, and we are also the SEZ authority for the province, for the federal capital area. So these are the details of the 22 special economic zones that have been notified so far. 10 of these are in Punjab, 6 in Sindh, 2 in KP, 3 in Balochistan, 1 in the capital city, and an area of 15,624 acres at the moment is under SEZ. So this is the location of the 9 special economic zones under CPEC. As you can see, Rashakai in the north has been notified. The Allama Iqbal Industrial City, Punjab has been notified. Bostan Industrial Zone has been notified, and Dhabeji in Sindh has been approved in principle. We will be launching it very shortly. And once these 4 SEZs are running and up and about, we will go for the remaining 5 SEZs, which will hopefully be notified before the end of the year. So these are the locations, some key features of all these SEZs. Rashakai is located in Nushairo Feroz, and this is the Rashake, which is located in Nowshera, KP Peshawar, and the potential industries include light engineering, automotive, construction, food processing, garments, textile products, general merchandise, electronics, and electrical appliances. The next SEZ under CPEC is Allama Iqbal, which is located in Faisalabad province, Punjab. And the potential industries include textile, engineering, electrical, electronics, chemical, paints, agriculture, food processing, steel and packaging, pharmaceuticals, IT, and automotive. Dhabeji SEZ is planned for Sindh province, Thatta, which will be very close to the coast. And the potential industry is all the industry which is export seeking. This will be the favorite SEZ for them. The steel foundries, automotive, auto parts, chemical and pharmaceuticals, consumers of electronics, engineering, textile and garments, building material will be the industry which will be favoring this zone. So for the Bostan Special Economic Zone, it is located in District Pashin, province of Balochistan, and the potential industry is food processing, agriculture, machinery, minerals, gems, ceramics, ice, cold storage, electrical appliances, motorbike assembly, pharmaceutical, and halal food industry. This is a new initiative for the Board of Investment to make sure that all the applications are processed in a timely manner. An SEZ module is available, and anyone who's interested in investing in the CPEC SEZ has just to visit the BOI's website, go to the SEZ module, and file an application. So you will be given 3 choices, and number 1 choice, number 2 choice, number 3, you will just list down all 3, and whichever will be available will be allotted to you. You will get information about the price of the land, all the rules, regulations attached to it once you visit the SEZ module. I'd just like to mention 2 recent policies which the government has announced. The key features are listed here: the electric vehicle policy and the mobile manufacturing policy. So we are encouraging investments in these 2 sectors and are offering additional incentive. So in case any one of you is interested, you can please contact us. The Board of Investment is the focal agency for all the foreign investors, and we are there to help you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Madam, for such an elaborate presentation. I believe Mr. Joe Zendi is back online. Sir, you may resume from where we broke off.
I'm sorry for the internet instability. Let continue my briefing from the part 2. About the industrial and SEZ cooperation in Pakistan. With the progress of CPEC, strengthening the cooperation of industry and SEZs has become a key issue of mutual concern. And Pakistan attaches great importance to industrial development. A total of 9 prioritized special economic zones across the country have been identified at the 8th Joint Cooperation Committee, JCC meeting. Among the 9 SEZs, the Rajshahi SEZ in KP province, the M3 industrial city in Punjab province, and the Dhabeji SEZ in Sindh province are the early harvest SEZs under CPEC cooperation. And they are actively promoting construction and attracting investment. the Pakistani government is going to formulate more preferential tax policies from the key parks in corridor. The Chinese government is also actively recommending industrial parks in corridor to Chinese companies in order to attract and encourage Chinese companies to invest and build factories in SEZs. The SEZs are the focus of attention and promotion under CPEC. Pakistan also promised to establish more different prioritized SEZs supporting policies. In addition to cooperation in industrial parks and special economic zones, promoting Pakistan's industrial cooperation is also the key direction in the next step of the CPEC. In consideration of the textile industry is a mainstay industry in Pakistan, a specialist panel was formed by CICC to conduct diagnosis and investigations on Pakistani's textile industry and interviewed Pakistani textile enterprises to understand the operation of the factories, holding meetings with Pakistani national or provincial textile associations. We visited the textile mill in Faisalabad, about 5 factories. We exchanged our opinions on the opportunities of textile industry cooperation between China and Pakistan. In terms of the textile industry, the expert group reached a consensus that there is a lot of opportunities for cooperation in textile industry between China and Pakistan. It can be explored to strengthen cooperation in 3 areas. 1 is garment production. 2 is artificial fiber manufacturing. The 3rd is the textile skill training. The diagnosis report formed during the investigation and was also highly affirmed by the chairman of the Board of Investment, Pakistan. And Mr. Ning Jizhe, the vice chairman of NDRC China, at the 9th China-Pakistan Joint Committee meeting. The Pakistan textile industry diagnosis report has been compiled and we presented to Pakistani side. About the prioritized areas for industrial cooperation, the Chinese expert group believe that Pakistan's 6 major industries, including agriculture, textile, steel, logistics, mineral, and ICT, has a solid development foundation and a great potential for development. I would like to point out in particular that the industries and SEZ cooperation under CPEC follow the principle of openness and are not limited to Chinese and Pakistani companies. We welcome companies from all over the world who are interested in investing in Pakistan to settle in, and also CPEC welcomes companies from all over the world to developing industrial cooperation. In my view, Singapore has high science and technology driven, a pivot of world trading and a hub for international financing. Pakistan is a country with a large population, and China and Singapore as well. China and Singapore, as well as are traditionally friends and for decades. We believe that under CPEC, China, Pakistan, and Singapore will have a lot of opportunities for cooperation. The tri-party cooperation should be based on leveraging Chinese advantages, combining the current situation and development needs of Pakistan's industry, and the investment interests of Singapore's companies to jointly seek and explore possible areas of cooperation under the CPEC. The cooperation model will ultimately achieve mutual benefit and win-win results from the common development. And that's my briefing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing with us your first-hand experience in the CPEC SEZs in Pakistan. We may now move forward to our next panelist, who is Mr. Ho Chun Keng, Vice President, Singapore China Business Association. And he will be speaking on the opportunities of BRI for Singapore and ASEAN and the requirements for CPEC's success and sustainability. Sir.
Hi, thank you. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, friends, very good afternoon to all of you. On behalf of Singapore China Business Associations, I thank you for the privileged opportunity to speak at today's webinar. We all know that Belt and Road Initiative, in short, BRI, since its conceptualization in 2013, has been making very good progress and well received by many countries in the world. This mega global infrastructure development strategy was mooted based on the ancient Silk Road model, which was the famed historical trade routes to the Western regions in the old days. And historically, it has been proven as very beneficial on the economic and commercial fronts. Now, ASEAN forms the southern segment of the BRI master plan, which coupled with China as the second largest economic power in the world and the dynamism and determination of ASEAN's growth momentum, such meeting of forces and visions for infrastructure development will only be positive for ASEAN's economically while uniting the huge populations within ASEAN to prosper. Singapore has been fortunate to be part of ASEAN and in fact as the financial and business center for ASEAN's growth. On its own, Singapore has also been actively involved in the Land-Sea Economic Corridor, or 陆海新通道 in Chinese, originating from Chongqing, China, as well as other initiatives on BRI. For example, we have government agencies like Enterprise Singapore in supporting such effort, as well as we have a good numbers of enterprises and corporations investing and operating in China and ASEAN under this infrastructure development plan. I am sure one could readily appreciate the significant benefits in terms of trade, manufacturing, sharing of value-added ideas, exchanges of talents and creativities, economics value generated will be important to all countries. And all countries of ASEAN from Laos, Myanmar, Vietnam to Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore. Now, with this vision and scale, it is estimated to speed up the development efficiency and productivity of ASEAN by easily 50% over the next 5 years. Let me now turn to the focus on China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC, as you said, in short, which is both a fundamental and integral part of the BRI. Therefore, CPEC will have a direct significance to both BRI as well as the connectivity to the world, whereby Pakistan will play a key role. CPEC, being part of BRI, will therefore possess direct advantage and economic values of the BRI infrastructure. We, however, have witnessed the challenges confronting the world and mankind in the last 2 to 3 years. Especially we see the COVID-19 pandemic and climate change, which has and will greatly change the working order of the world and how the world's economic develop. At the same time, there may be also positive impetus like technology advancement, recognition on the importance of free trade. Example, the signing of RCEP in 2020 involving at least 15 countries, appreciating the values of mutual dependency and inclusiveness of society and cross-border flows of ideas and innovations, which will generate both opportunities and positive ramifications, in my opinion. And therefore, I believe that the CPEC is incepted at an opportune time, whereby it has witnessed and experienced what I've mentioned above, the steep challenges, as well as the steep learning curve, so that they can convert such valuable experiences and assets into its planning and development model to ensure its success and sustainability. Now, capitalizing on such invaluable experience and taking advantage of the latest know-how and technologies, I would conclude that CPEC should look into the following areas and considerations to make it a world first-class economic corridor, which not only will provide positive dynamism and impetus to the Pakistani economy, but will also give rise to economic and social development in the region, as well as the world at large. I would like to share my following suggestions as follows. 1, I would think seamless connectivity is very important. Now, in addition to the technology, infrastructure, and hardware kind of requirements to ensure connectivity, here my focus is on the government's and authorities' determination to provide efficient and inclusive service with the consistency and timeliness of policies. Otherwise, whether the flow of goods or trades, supply chain informations, etc., will be jammed up or will be suffocated. And the connectivity will be interrupted as a result, no matter how advanced the technology and how expensive the infrastructure one may have. The next area that I think CPEC should look into will be environment, social, and governance. In short, what we call ESG. And primarily, this involves two areas. One will be going green, the other is the climate change. And this has been evolved as a very significant worldwide trend. And I think it will continue its dominance internationally. The third point I would recommend is creativity. I think we must always recognize that no matter how well planned, how good CPEC is conceived, there will be competitions in the world somewhere, somehow, sometime. So we must look at it from the angle that CPEC must be competitive. And therefore, I believe that new and sustainable ideas are very important in its planning and executions in order for CPEC to go a long way and to succeed. The next point I would like to share will be its opportunities. I think we are all human beings. We are all very pragmatic, whether we are enterprises, whether we are a normal citizen looking for a job. We will only go to places where we can see opportunities. So I think providing opportunities or let people visualize their opportunities are very fundamental and important. Because when one unable to see the opportunities, you cannot find talents, you cannot find investment, you cannot find businessmen. The next thing, I hope CPEC will also look into lifestyle. I think uplifting living standard and developing or projecting or planning a balanced, healthy lifestyles, as well as amenities and facilities for educations, for people to grow up and being able to do research are very important for the success and the long-term goal, as well as sustainability for CPEC as well. The next point I would like to share are urbanization. I think I would suggest that the CPEC authority or the Board of Investment can look at or leverage on the China's success on urbanization policies, plus in syncing the technology to be in line with today's requirement as well as the future provisions when CPEC is built, is more developed, become operational, so that you will have a seamless integrations and a seamless operations for CPEC to flourish. Another point will be, suggestion will be investment. I think, no doubt, CPEC needs to attract investment, but CPEC needs to be an ecosystem for investment. You just can't keep advertising that, I want investment, I hope people to come in. I think CPEC needs to build its own ecosystem for investment, as well as a strong and good platform for entrepreneurs and maybe in Singapore context, the small and medium enterprises. Another suggestion I tabled will be optimization of resources, of capital and talents, etc. So I would suggest that CPEC might want to look at a more comprehensive plan on this so that it can optimize whatever it can get, resources, capitals, talents, and entrepreneurs, etc. Then I would say that recommend that CPEC will have to define or aspire itself to have a long-term view and visions to make it a next generation's economic corridor or cities or business parks. You need to have a dream. When you have a dream, then people will come to it, and through marketing and things like that, I think you can combine resources as well as strength much easier. The last point I would like to table for your consideration will be management, which I'm sure everybody knows how important management will be. If just now Excellencies Azels speak about Singapore, as well as the board of the chairman of the CPEC authority speaks about Singapore. I think we must all about management. And I hope that CPEC authorities can put a strong focus on the software of the entire development and system. So just a very short presentation, and I know time is also pressing. So to conclude, I'm confident that if CPEC could equip with these advantageous policies, which I just raised ultimately, I'm sure it will evolve as a sustainable world-class development. And last but not least, I would like to end my presentation by sharing what Steve Jobs of Apple once said. You can't look at the competitions and say you are going to do better. You have to look at the competition and say you are going to do it differently. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for contextualizing China-Pakistan Economic Corridor for our audience from Singapore in particular and from ASEAN in general. And also thank you for some very relevant suggestions. I'm sure that the relevant authorities will take a cue from your suggestions.
Thank you.
I think it is now time to move forward to our next panelist, who is Mr. Farhan Saleh. He's the Regional General Manager, China and Singapore, Habib Bank Limited, and he will be speaking about the role of financial institutions in CPEC.
Thank you very much. I think we are substantially over time, so I'll try to cut my speech to make it within time and allow people to ask questions. Her Excellency, Ambassador Rukhsana Afzal, His Excellency Mr. Jiang Shumin, Lieutenant General Asim Salim Bajwa, Mr. Ying Xiaong, good afternoon and ni hao. It is an immense pleasure to speak in front of all of you today, and I must really commend the Pakistan High Commission in Singapore and the Chinese Embassy here in Singapore for taking this great initiative. I don't think any other country has done this for CPEC till date. I would also personally like to thank Her Excellency, Ambassador Rukhsana, for allowing me to speak in front of such esteemed speakers. I hope I can be of some value to all of you today. What I will speak about is the role of financial institutions in CPEC. But before I do that, I'll spend a minute on explaining to all of you what HBL is and what my role is. So HBL is the largest bank in Pakistan. We are the only bank from Pakistan to have an operating setup in China. We set up a representative office in 2005, a first branch in Urumqi in 2017. We started RMB business in 2018. And just last quarter, we commenced a branch in Beijing. We are and have been involved in CPEC. We have executed transactions exceeding $6 billion in CPEC Phase 1. In Pakistan, we have over 500 Chinese corporates and SOEs who are our customers and over 10,000 Chinese individuals. We have 28 bankers, Chinese dedicated bankers to service Chinese companies in Pakistan, UAE, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Kenya. So our focus on partnership with China is CPEC and beyond CPEC. I would also like to inform you that while we provide corporate and commercial banking services, we have created dedicated softwares in Chinese to help our Chinese individual customer in their banking needs and in remitting their salaries back to their home. I've had the privilege personally to spend time in China. I was in Beijing from 2013 to 17. And fortunately for me, it coincided with the start of CPEC. So I got involved and the bank got involved in discussions with the governments of Pakistan and China, with the Planning Commission in Pakistan, with NDRC, NEA, Sinosure, and leading Chinese banks to develop the financing structures for projects that were put up in Phase 1 of CPEC. Now, banks' role, as we generally all understand, is to provide financing. But I think the role when such projects come and cross-border projects come is much more diversified. Banks provide assistance on financing, certainly, but on project structuring, on providing industry and company expertise, in discussions with the governments, and in negotiation contracts. Large-scale corporations, when they decide to invest in certain countries, the first call is to the banker to discuss the idea of whether this proposition should go forward and whether for such a proposition, a financing package would be available or not. Now, as has been mentioned by esteemed speakers before me, CPEC Phase 1 was about infrastructure and power generation and energy projects. And CPEC Phase 2 is about industrial development and agriculture development. And I would like to mention here some of the things that we are taking up as a financial institution and as a leading institution in Pakistan to take this government initiative forward. Number one, we have signed a partnership agreement with China Road and Bridge Construction, CRBC, which is the concessionaire for the Rashaka Economic Zone. We will develop a state-of-the-art branch there, and we are working with them in attracting both domestic and Chinese investors to set up manufacturing facilities in the zone. In Gwadar, we are the first bank to establish a branch in the Gwadar Free Zone. And it is an immense pleasure to tell you that we are the only bank servicing the Chinese customers there. We have a dedicated Chinese personnel there who are Chinese, who speak Mandarin, and therefore are able to work with the companies that are being set up there. We are also working closely with China Overseas Port Holdings, which is the concessionaire for the Gwadar Free Zone, in discussing the opportunities to attract companies there. While obviously certain economic zones were mentioned, those are government-sponsored large economic zones. But then there are other private ones that are being put in place. And we are working with those companies and helping them in their discussions with BOI, with SEC, with government, with the central bank, to make sure that their setups are done at the earliest time possible. In terms of agri-development, China has advanced significantly in terms of agriculture technology, yield, productivity, and diversity of crops. We are working with two of the largest SOEs in this space to help Pakistan adopt the right technology the expertise, the skill set. With one of our customers and a Chinese counterparty, hybrid rice seeds have been planted, with the Chinese company committing to buy production for the next 3 years. This is a great success, but there's much more to do. I would like to say at this point that the task of CPEC cannot be done by any one bank or one financial institution. It is a collaborative effort. We are and we will continue to work with global Chinese institutions like China Development Bank, ICBC, Bank of China, Bank of Communications, Sinosure, etc. We are here in Singapore. I am based in Singapore, and I would be available to any Singaporean investor, either asking for more information on CPEC, want to understand the policies, opportunities, and growth prospects. The ambassador gives us the opportunity from time to time to work with her High Commission in attracting investors to this part of the world. So please feel free to reach out to us, and we will see how we can assist you in the best possible manner. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Farhan Talib. I think it was a very important subject that you spoke about very convincingly. So thank you for your talk. This brings us to our last panelist of today, certainly not the least, Mr. Chen Wai Hao. He is the Vice Chairman of the Belt and Road Committee, China Enterprises Association in Singapore. And Mr. Wai will highlight the investment opportunities in Pakistan in the eyes of the Chinese enterprises. Floor is yours, sir.
Okay, thank you. Your Excellency, Mr. Zhang Xuming, Charged Affairs of the Chinese Embassy in Singapore. Your Excellency, Ms. Roxana Afzal, High Commissioner of Pakistan to Singapore. And dear friend, Assalamu alaikum. It is my honor to be invited to share our experience of working with business opportunities under CPEC in front of so many honorable ambassadors, officials, and distinguished guests today. But Pakistan has always been special to myself, as it is the country where my first abroad business trip was taken. Following that, I have traveled to Islamabad, Karachi, Lahore, and Gwadar since. I enjoy the friendship while working with Pakistan friends. Chinese enterprises have been in Pakistan for a very long time. The renowned international contractor brands like China State Construction, Sinohydro, CREC, CRCC, MCC, CGEC, CRBC, as well as CCCC have delivered continuous efforts in projects like ports, highways, railways, airports, and power plants, which have greatly contributed to the infrastructure construction and improved the livelihood of people in Pakistan. CPEC is a demonstration project of China-Pakistan cooperation. We have already taken the first step for greater connectivity by promoting projects on economic corridor and actively pursuing them on ground. This would benefit both countries and entire South Asia, and will facilitate the economic integration of the whole region. And CPEC is opening up new opportunities for development, enhanced connectivity, and people-to-people contacts. In recent years, Chinese enterprises have deeply involved in the construction of CPEC, not only as a contractor, but also as investor. For CCCC, we have already worked with Sabana Jurong to seek invest and operation opportunities in Pakistan. The projects that Chinese enterprises launched have created and provide abundant job opportunities, education, and training for skills in Pakistan. CCCC established investment limited company in Pakistan and implementing Rashakai Special Economic Zone and Guada Free Zone. Rashakai Special Economic Zone is the first industry park under CPEC, and it has incentive policies like custom duties and income tax exemption. As the guest speakers have already introduced this special economic zone, I just want to highlight that this special economic zone of 1,000 acres is developed in 3 phases. And the first phase and the phase 1 of the 247 acres will be finished next year. So far, many Chinese companies have shown their interest to collaborate with local companies during our marketing activities. And anyone who is interested in it can approach my CRBC colleagues in Pakistan. As a major participant and contributor to belt and road construction, especially CPEC projects, Chinese enterprises have rich experience in lifting connectivity projects. Now we aim for more developing, such as industry parks, to drive investment and employment to improve overall development level. As China Enterprises Association Singapore, we have set up the Belt and Road Committee to welcome and bridge a wider cooperation with investors worldwide, including Singapore enterprises, to explore and grab the booming chances under CPEC. Looking ahead, we will continue to promote hardware connectivity and soft connectivity through win-win cooperation with a pivot on CPEC project. We hope to work in joint hands with our partners worldwide to promote global development. That's all from me. Thank you.
Many thanks, sir. Thank you so much for your talk. This brings us to the end of our panel discussion session today, and I would like to thank all our distinguished panelists today for their enriching and thought-provoking talks. And I'm sure that many questions that we had in our minds and our participants had in our minds have been tackled to some extent. However, like promised, we do have a planned Q&A session, which will begin right now. We had asked the participants to send in their questions in the chat box, and we have received a few questions from our participants. I will start reading out those questions one by one, and we'll see which of the panelists would be willing to respond to those. The first question for in the Q&A session today is regarding remittances. I will read out the question first. It says, people are facing remittance receiving problems due to lower efficiency of certain banks. Any comments on that? I believe Mr. Farhan Talib spoke a bit about financial institutions. Mr. Farhan Talib, can we unmute you, and would you like to offer some comments?
Yeah. Well, look, in our experience, and we are one of the largest trade banks in the country, normally in import and export, there is no delay. There may be delay sometimes based on the exchange situation and dividend payments, etc. But again, that's not a massive delay. So the question I would have from the gentleman is that, number one, were your documentation, and perhaps not your documentation, but the documentation of your importer in Pakistan complete when such remittance was applied to State Bank? Number two, you must have used a certain authorized dealer, which is the bank in Pakistan. And once you go with a particular bank, the State Bank, as a protocol and process, processes the case with that bank. So, you know, I can either leave you with my number, or there are my other colleagues based in Pakistan also on the call, and I think we can discuss your specific case. But again, I can confirm you that much, that typically on trade transactions, import, export, etc., if the documents are in order, there's not a delay of even a single day.
Thank you for your response. The gentleman who's asked this question, I hope that your concern has been addressed. Like Mr. Kale pointed out, if you still have any further questions and you're based in Singapore, you're most welcome to get in touch with him or with our High Commission, and they will be happy to help you out. The next question I will read out. It says, what safeguards are in place to ensure that CPEC initiative is not jeopardized? And I would request Director General China from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs here, Mr. Faraz Zedi, to please respond.
Thank you very much, Saman, and thank you very much thanks to the participant who has put this question forward, because it gives me the opportunity to highlight some takeaways of today's webinar. So these takeaways, which I would highlight, are number one, BRI has a flagship project named CPEC. CPEC is the linchpin of BRI. It's the demonstration project of the BRI. This is one of the major takeaways which I would like the audience to remember. So both Pakistan and China are wholeheartedly invested in making CPEC a complete success. I hope I've made my point clear. The second thing which I would like to highlight is that there is a complete political consensus in Pakistan regarding CPEC being absolutely crucial for Pakistani economy. So no matter which political party is in power in Pakistan, has formed the government, there would be absolutely no change in the policies the government has made on CPEC. If you remember, when CPEC was launched, we had Pakistan Muslim League Noon in government in Pakistan. Now it is Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, but there has been no change as far as the policies of CPEC are concerned. The third takeaway, which I would highlight, is that CPEC in Pakistan is being managed through an elaborate framework. The CPEC joint working groups, which are 10 in number, are controlling each and every aspect of CPEC. So the relevant ministries, the relevant departments look at all aspects of CPEC very, very minutely in these joint working groups and keep on improving the rules, the laws, the policies. And one of the gentlemen has commented that this should be also an opportunity for people to voice their concerns or highlight their issues. Let me tell you that we do get feedback from investors from China, from other countries who want to come and invest here. And we very promptly communicate them to the Board of Investment, who are in a process of formulating investor-friendly policies. And last but not the least, I would like everybody to take away the point that the investment in CPEC special economic zones are covered under sovereign guarantees of the government of Pakistan. So thank you very much. I hope I've clarified the question which the person had put forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I hope the question which was put forward has been adequately addressed. I believe it was a quite detailed response. Moving forward, we have a couple of questions regarding investment mechanisms. And I'm sure a representative from BOI would like to respond. I will read those questions one by one. The first question asks, what kind of institutional mechanisms are in place for resolving issues related to investors? Representative from BOI, if you could kindly unmute yourself.
All right.
Thank you so much, Ms. Saman, and giving BOI the opportunity. And once we talk about the investment in Pakistan, so Board of Investment is the apex agency for facilitating and promoting the investment in Pakistan. And our primary focus is to, go for the hand-holding of the investors and be the face for them in Pakistan once they come for investment. So recently, besides taking measures to support the CPEC related activities, the overall investment regime has been, rejuvenated in a way that we already have international agreements like bilateral investment treaties, which we also have with Singapore. That brings in the arbitration. Then for our special economic zones, which is our tool for attracting the investments, we have come up as Ms. Ma'am Farina, the Secretary BOI, alluded in her presentation. That has also been set up that the investors can apply online as a developer or as an enterprise, and which is pretty transparent, and we have an access to it along with the provincial governments. So that makes it all very comfortable for them to apply online from anywhere, any place. Then BOI has recently set up the investor relation management system, which tracks the investors that who come to us. So we are able to track them. Again, it is a digital way of handling. And then once we receive the formal request, because what happens is that, the manual process for the meeting to seek time, to get in touch, and from person to person communication, that may take time. So the initial information, the bombardment of information is what we're trying to do is to make it online, make it more digital. And the new investment law is also under consideration, which will define a more liberal investment regime. So these are all the steps being taken by the government very recently. So the investment regime in Pakistan is shaping very nicely, and we can say that this is the right time to come and
Recording in progress.
Hello, I think MOFA's internet has disconnected. We wait for them to reconnect with us.
Apologies for the little technical glitch that we had. Sir Asim, thank you so much for this wonderful recap of all the institutional mechanisms that DOI offers the investors. There's just another follow-up question, which says, has Chinese relocation take place?
All right, all right. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, it's a very interesting question because we understand under the CPEC arrangement, the first phase was primarily about the G2G framework agreements, which aimed at actually setting up the platform for bringing in the investment and the businesses to attract and lure in the businesses. So that was to resolve the issues pertaining to the energy, infrastructure, communication. So that was being done. So the medium term and the long term plan pertains to the industrial cooperation. That is also to set up the businesses in Pakistan and relocation of Chinese to Pakistan. So one of the tools that was being set up was and is the special economic zones. So the Russia-Kai SEZ, which is being developed with the Chinese private partner and the KP government of Pakistan. So the enterprises, there are 13 Chinese enterprises who have registered themselves. One of them has already started its operation in Russia-Kai, Century Steel. They have started their operations and they will go into production very soon. So they have stamped their foot in the SEZ. Then besides the CPEC SEZs, we also have other Chinese presence in the SEZs, and the most prominent one is the Faisalabad, the Punjab SEZ, where we have the Chinese relocations and the industries who have come up with their capital and technology. Just to name the few, there's Time Ceramics, then there is one company who is dealing with the construction prefabricated, and there is another Chinese company coming in, the big Chinese company, the Power China company for the 700 megawatt solar plants, the Apple Challenge, just to name the few. So the relocation has started. Yes, we understand that this is a very arduous task of, G2G framework can get on, but to bring in the investor and to win the trust of the investor and to attract them and bring their businesses and companies, private companies, to another place, it is definitely a task that we are pitched up against, and BOI, with the rest of its, with the coordination with the MOFA and other collaborating partners in Ministry Division, are trying its level best to pave the way. But yes, it has started.
Thank you so much, sir. And obviously, we look forward to continued relocation of Chinese industries in Pakistan. Moving on, there is a question which says, when will China start using the Gwadar port for its exports and imports? And I would request probably the CDA from the Chinese mission in Singapore, or Dr. Du, or anyone who would like to pitch in. NDRC, if you would like to respond. So the question is, when would China start using the Gwadar port for its exports and imports?
Excuse me. Hello.
Yes, please.
Sorry, my Mashara Tafir right now got something else, and I have noted this question. However, as Chinese Embassy in Singapore, I do not have an answer for now. So maybe give us some time, and we will check with authorities back in Beijing. And after that, we may reply back through email or something. Is that okay?
Of course, that is totally understandable.
Thank you.
Anyone else? NDRC, if you have any inputs on this question. If no, that is perfectly fine. We cannot. Do we? I think we will move on from this question, and like the representative from the Chinese embassy.
Can you hear me? Actually, about the question you just asked, we also need to confirm with the correspondent departments. So maybe get back to you later about this question.
Yes, that is totally fine. So like I said, it is to the person who asked this question, this is something that has to be checked and rechecked. And we'll make sure that somebody gets back to you with a response on this. In any case, you can always contact our embassy in our High Commission in Singapore or the Chinese embassy in Singapore for a response on that. The next question that we have is about the next question has been put forward by Mr. Hanif Khalid, and it says that the Chinese President Xi has told Pakistani Prime Minister that Gwadar is his gift to Pakistan nation. Able leadership of Pakistan has declared CPEC a game changer in the region, but Pakistani people feel that the speed of CPEC on bridges and roads, specifically Western Corridor of CPEC, Hakla to DI Khan completion of motorway is not on time. So he basically wants a response on that. May I please request our High Commissioner in Singapore, Madam Roxana Afzal, if you could kindly respond to this question.
Thank you, Saman, for referring this question to me. As already stated by Lieutenant General Asim Salim Bajwa, Chairman CPEC Authority, the work on Western Corridor is in full progress, and both Eastern and Western corridors are on schedule. In fact, Western Corridor is important in the sense that it runs through the Balochistan province, and where we are developing this Bostan special economic zone. So there is a lot of focus on that, and there is no reason for any concern on this account. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Madam. So this was the last question that we have received in our chat box. And I believe if there are no further questions, then on behalf of Pakistan High Commission in Singapore and the Chinese Embassy in Singapore, I would like to sincerely thank all the participants and speakers today for their presence and active participation. CPEC, ladies and gentlemen, is a transformational project. We are developing CPEC as a pivot of regional connectivity and prosperity. Like pointed out right in the beginning of the webinar, on July 5th, Prime Minister Imran Khan visited Gwadar Port, which we call the crown jewel of CPEC, along with the Chinese ambassador and 6 other ambassadors of the regional countries. So our effort right now is to underscore the opportunities and immense economic dividends that CPEC can provide to the region as a whole. CPEC is an open and inclusive project. It is open to third-party participation, and we would urge investors from Singapore to explore and invest in CPEC. Like I've been saying again, if you still have any follow-up questions, please feel free to drop in emails to our High Commission in Singapore or to the Chinese Embassy in Singapore, and they will be delighted to respond to you. That brings me to the end of this webinar today. Thank you all very much again. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Goodbye.